Hello and welcome to Delectable Flavors. In today's video, I will be teaching you how to make eggless carrot cake. Now let's get started. To make this delicious cake, you will need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of melted butter. It has to be melted butter this time just so your carrot cake is nice and moist. Usually in my recipes, you can choose from softened butter or melted butter. For this recipe, you should use melted butter. You'll need 6 cups of shredded carrots, and you'll also need 2 cups of brown sugar. But if you do not have brown sugar, I have also left a link in the description box on how to make your own homemade brown sugar, and that's what I'm also using today. You'll also need 12 tablespoons of non-flavored yogurt. You can also use applesauce if that's what you like to use. You'll also need 3¼ cups of milk, 4 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, as well as 1 tablespoon of baking powder. For the carrots, if you do not want to use shredded carrots, you can also use carrot puree, which is basically the carrots blended, if you do not like the chunks of carrots in your cake. Now you can set aside your carrots as we're going to use them later and fold them into our batter last. So what I'm first going to do is mix in my milk into my butter bowl. I've left my milk to be room temperature, and I would recommend using room temperature milk. I'm going to give this a good whisk. Now I'm going to add my non-flavored yogurt. So now I'm going to give this all a good whisk. So I find for the sugar that you can put it in either your dry mixture or your wet mixture, but I'm going to be putting it in my wet mixture today. So now I'm just going to mix until fully incorporated. I'm now going to add my vanilla extract and give it a light whisk. Now I'm going to put this mixture to a side, and we're now going to sift our dry ingredients into our flour. My flour is already sifted. I'm just going to add all the ingredients together. I'm going to give it a good sift. This will ensure that there are no clumps left over in your batter. Salt and baking soda. Now a baking powder. And now that it's all sifted, I'm going to give this a good mix. So now that I have this all mixed, I'm going to add my wet mixture inside my dry ingredient bowl. Now what I'm going to do is add in my carrots. So now what I'm going to do is divide my batter upon these 3 6-inch pans. If you do have any extra batter, you can use it to make cupcakes, or you can bake it in another pan and just use that as a snack to eat as well. So now I'm going to divide my batter. So I have distributed my batter evenly, and now what I'm going to do to ensure that it bakes evenly is get a toothpick and run it along my batter. both vertically and horizontally. You can also slam it against your counter, but to avoid getting dents on the counter, you can use this toothpick method. It works just as well. Now what you're going to do is put these in the oven to bake for roughly 45 to 50 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. My carrot cakes have now just baked in the oven, and you can check if they're ready by looking at the edges. You can see that the edges are curling away from the pan, which is a good sign. You can also see that they are springing from the touch, which also means they are done. Just to show you what it looks like, it is a bit hot. I haven't let it cool. This is what my beautiful 6-inch carrot cake looks like. I'm just going to put it back in the pan, and I'm going to leave these in here to cool for 10 minutes. Make sure that before you decorate your cakes, you let it completely cool at room temperature, and you also let it sit in the fridge or freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes, as it makes decorating a whole lot easier. You can also eat this cake straight from the pan, as it is delicious that way as well. If you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel for a new recipe every week. Till the next recipe, bye-bye!